Welcome to Emily's Corner. We'll be reading a short story by Tom Shackleton, Natural Order. Let's dive in. Webster, Lansing, Darwin, Frankel. Everything has a proper place. Everything knows this too. From fallen leaves to electrical cords, to books, to people. The world is chaotic, and most things find themselves out of place. But if you listen, you can hear everything around you constantly whispering. They'll tell you about their perfect angle, temperature, environment, with such desperation from which only a devil could possibly turn away. It's overwhelming. I imagine that's why most people ignore it. My key slides into the library's front door, and the gentle air conditioning invites me inside. As I wait for the start of my shift, my fingertips graze the book's leather cover. Things tend to gravitate around their proper place. I've learned that from my experience at this library, all the books are here for a reason, and sorting them is just a matter of specifics. For as long as I can remember, that's been my job. For this job, my title is librarian. For this job, I've been called many things: a maniac, a stickler, an obsessive. I call myself a sculptor. Hemingway, Nabokov, Melville, Homer. The library's owner is called Arthur. Light skin, dark Garibaldi beard, a touch shorter than I. He wears a lot of brown jackets with a texture like coconut shells. It's been clear since I've known him that he's never listened to the whispers, and it's become a bit hard not to resent him for that. But for the most part, he stays out of my way. He might as well belong in the library. The librarian he hired before me was evil. I don't say that lightly. She had a cavalier attitude about sorting, one which is still felt on the shelves today. Clashing genres, colors, ideas, and authors. To look for a book and find it was to win the lottery. Imagine how the books must have felt. Locked in that chaos for years, they're still traumatized. To look into turmoil, to analyze and control takes every bit of my willpower. But I'm glad to do it because, like the books, my proper place is the library. I'll make it a place of order. Lately, Arthur's insisted I get an assistant. Gotten sick of paying me so much overtime, no doubt, although the time I spend on my work is not for a lack of efficiency. I've been able to resist so far, but today he'll finally pull the trigger. Don't ask me how I know this. When a storm is coming, there's a certain pressure in the air, which all can notice but none can place. I check the parking lot. Sure enough, I notice there's a car in the center. Arthur calls me into his office. What's the opposite of a Christmas morning feeling? He's at his desk when I walk in. Standing next to him, a boy sticks his hand out for a handshake. Early teens, skinny as a stick, dark hair and freckles, fingernails bitten, sleeves at uneven angles. His brown shoes don't even match the rest of his outfit. They aren't even double knotted, and a crumb or two on his shirt. I turn to Arthur. Would it have killed you to consult me first? I did consult you, Otto, he claims. You said no, now I'm telling you. You're going to have a partner. Part-time, every Friday, and you'll treat him like a peer. Right, a peer. He looks like he can't even tell his left from his right. Pleasure to meet you, sir, goes the kid. His outstretched hand retreats, tail between his legs. Arthur pinches his nose. He volunteered. You can show him the ropes. We can discuss an assistant tomorrow, if you really think that's necessary. But my shift's about to start and he needs to leave. He volunteered. Show him the ropes. Arthur closes the door behind us, and I start to worry he's serious. The boy flashes an awkward smile and makes his way towards the bookshelves. The whispers follow. Every cell of his body, every bit of muscle and bone and skin tissue is out of place. I can barely breathe. Bradbury, Milton, Foucault, Burnett. On a normal day, I'm able to lose myself while sorting. It's a trance, like sleepwalking. Of course, there's an awareness of what I'm doing, but I'm always pulled by a tether called instinct. It's the deepest state of peace I've ever felt. Working with this boy then is trying to sleepwalk next to an alarm clock that goes off every 5 minutes. The library is nearly 50,000 square feet. He makes it feel cramped. Are you sorting by genre or alphabetically? Are we allowed to read the books during breaks? You know, a lot of libraries still use the Dewey Decimal System. Questions, constant questions. I'm lagging behind my normal productivity, not even to mention the work I'll have to redo on his end. When we started, I told him to sort the books on the shelf across the room from me. If I had him nearby, he'd only interrupt me more. He's been working on that shelf the whole day. Useless. It means nothing. He notices that I've finished with my work, so he leads me to his bookshelf. My shoulders tense. With my fullest attempt at empathy, I can see where he's coming from with some of these choices. Still, they're wrong. They're all wrong. And the books are screaming. How could I have let him in here? He's a tumor, a virus. Show him the ropes. How could you explain physics to an ant? Language to a rock? It's hard to breathe. He won't listen. Of course he won't listen. Except when my eyes move down to the bottom row, the screaming stops. This one, I point. This one, what did you do here? Oh, sorry, sir, the boy says. I didn't really know what you wanted, so I took a few liberties. Wells, Kafka, Vonnegut, Heinlein. Even a broken clock. When I start my shift a week later, the boy is already there, denying me a brief window of order. He's cleaned up, at least, compared to last week. Grey shirt, black pants, they look newly washed. Still has those brown shoes that don't match though. And he's lurking around a bookshelf that I've already sorted. For a moment, my heart stops. And I'm sure he's infected the entire library, but there aren't any whispers. Not from the shelves anyway. He's just standing there, staring. Like the books are going to jump out at him. I show him what shelf he'll be working on. He nods. After I've finished with my work, he leads me to his shelf. I brace myself for the whispers, like thunderclaps to blast in my ears. But when I finally arrive, I'm confronted with something even more shocking. He's gotten it right. Of course, not entirely right. I'll still have to go over it again naturally, but somehow I can see how he got here. And it almost reads like he understands what's going on. What's gotten into him? I tried to replicate your style, he says, avoiding eye contact. If it's wrong, I can redo it next time. No, I say. With that, he leaves. It shouldn't be possible for him to hear the whispers. It's not even possible, no. Right now, the books are trying to send me a message, and I need to decode it, so when he arrives for his next shift, I invite him to help me with my shelf. Even if it means sacrificing a day of work or being right next to his whispers, I need to know his process. Graves, Sandberg, Whitman, Frost. I don't know, the boy says. It just feels right. There's no other spot where this book can go. It's like a sixth sense. It's not a sixth sense, I say. Can you hear it? Maybe, he says, trailing off. Maybe. He places the books on the shelf slowly and methodically, as if a million different simulations are going through his mind, every placement, every possible solution. Often, he'll almost make a wrong move and I'll finally be sure it's a coincidence, but he always stops himself just before and reconsiders. He handles the books carefully, as if they're going to shatter in his grip. Of course, he's much slower than I, and he does slip up once or twice. Still. What's your name? I ask him. For a second, he looks at me like I've pulled out a gun. I'm starting to realize how cold I've been. Mine is Otto, I continue. I never caught yours. It's Gale, sir. I consider it for a moment. No, that's not right. What? Well, I start. There's a difference between the name your parents give you and your real name. I wasn't born Otto. Everything has a proper name, just like everything has a proper place. And Gail, well, I don't think Gail is your proper name. I've never met my parents, he says. I grew up in an orphanage, sir. The name Gail is the only thing I have from them. But is it your proper name? He stops sorting for a moment. I don't know. And then back to the books. By the end of the day, the two of us have sorted more books than I've ever done alone. Even at my most productive, as much as I hate to admit it, it's convenient having another set of hands. He still has to learn, but who better to learn from than I? Before he walks off, I shake his hand. I look at the books, then back at him. Total silence. Maybe Arthur was right. Maybe he isn't as bad as I thought. Maybe. Total silence. Everything has a proper place. It's my honor, my responsibility to put those things where they belong. For this job, my title is librarian. For this job, I've been called many things. A maniac, a stickler, an obsessive. I'd call myself a sculptor. A sculptor, and the world is wet clay. Lumpy, disorganized, chaotic, malleable. Up until now, I've been slowly molding the world into its proper place, with artisan detail and intention. I've molded my life around this mission. The library is a place of order. It's my place. It's my proper place. The whispers guide my hands, and not even a month ago, the books told me that he was an intruder, that he was out of place, and yet, when I'm near the boy, I hear no whispers anymore. They told me he was out of place. They told me he was out of place. How could they lie to me? How many times did they lie to me? How could they accept him so easily? I was wrong, useless. It means nothing. Friday comes again. Billboard, red light, pedestrian, turn signal. I'm soaking wet when I get to the library. The rain cracks against the pavement and thunderclaps echo in the morning air. On days like this, I usually wait in front of the library and dry off before going inside. Not today. The boy's car is already in the lot. I jam my key into the front door and wrestle with the lock. At first, I don't even see him. It's only when he moves that I finally notice him near a shelf. His outfit changed completely. Hair combed, ironed shirt and pants, professional coat, and his brown shoes are gone, traded for a professional black dress pair. He's sharp, almost unrecognizable. What are you doing? I ask. Thought I'd get a head start, the kid drones. I look at the shelves, and I have a hard time distinguishing it from my other sorted ones next to it. Perfectly harmonious colors, genres, ideas, authors. The books look mint condition, finally in their proper place. He's gotten it right. Just like how I would have done it. Exactly like me. It's wrong. What? The boy asks. I take a step closer to the shelf, take off a book, Shakespeare. I step away from the boy and lob it across the library. It's wrong. It's all wrong. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Wait a minute. One by one, I dismantle the rows and throw the books on the ground. Pages rip, hardcovers thud. The whisper sounds like chanting, loud, fast, discordant pitches. It doesn't matter. Leave, Gail, I say, raising my voice. Don't come back. I thought I was, get the hell out of here. As he looks at me, I realize this is the first time I've actually met his gaze. I don't think I've ever seen bluer eyes. It takes every bit of my willpower to turn away. The front door opens, then shut. He doesn't belong in the library. He doesn't deserve to. Otto, what in the name of God was that? Arthur's voice. He must have heard me from his office. That was the first time I've been loud in here. Humiliated. The books lay open on the floor. The storm is calming down outside. A car engine starts and fades away. Please, I ask, don't call me Otto. The end. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Details in the description below. Until next time.